Here we go, everybody. It is week 6 of the Healthy Habits Challenge, and I just wanted to say that I am so proud of all of the work that you guys have been putting in every single week. We have already added new foods to our diet. Hey Ken, good morning. Thanks for joining. We've added new foods to our diet. We have added color. We have added fruits and vegetables. Hey Don, good morning. We have avoided snacking, and we've started to cut back on our processed foods. If we can continue just those habits alone, good morning Renee, then we've already set ourselves up for some really good success in our health and our quality of life moving forward. So please, as I say every week, it's very important that you keep up all of the habits that we've already implemented. They are not just for you to do for 1 week and then stop. They are supposed to accumulate over the weeks and continue everything that we've been working so hard to establish. So keep up with your fruits and vegetables at every meal. Try to avoid snacking as much as possible. Try to include all those different colors of the rainbow. So including 3 different colors at your meals is great for you. And if you have been eating the same kind of foods for a couple of days in a row, then that's on about the 4th day, think about some changes to make to your diet so that you're including some foods that maybe you didn't eat for the previous 3 days. And keep trying to look at your ingredient lists of the foods that you're purchasing at the store and try to only choose the foods where you recognize all of the ingredients as whole, unprocessed foods, so that there are no chemical compounds that you don't recognize that you know might be tricky for your body to digest. Instead, choose the foods around the perimeter of the supermarket, the fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and animal protein that you know looks in the store the way that it would in nature. So you know that they are whole, unprocessed foods. They don't have any added ingredients or any ingredients removed from the food. So keep up all these amazing habits and keep me posted as you continue to move through this, giving yourself that intention every day, thinking about and preparing how you are going to accomplish these goals that we've already set out and established. So just that continuing of these habits is really important. Okay, so this week's challenge also might be an easy one for some people. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping it's something you're already doing, but we are going to include seeds in our diet this week. So I know that this is something that you're either already doing and no problem, it's been a custom, a part of your life, no problem. And then I know that there is a bunch of you out there where I'll talk about, adding nuts and seeds, and I think that's something that people are like, seeds? How do I eat seeds in my diet? So I'm going to give you lots of tips today on how to add seeds to your diet, and I'm also going to talk about the health benefits of that. So when I talk about seeds, I am talking about chia seeds and flax seeds and sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. Honestly, you can choose. They are all healthy for you. Hemp seeds is another one. They each have their own unique health benefits, but then they also have many things in common with each other. Many of them contain the precursors for omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acid is a really healthy type of unsaturated fat that you get when you eat fatty fish, and it's anti-inflammatory. It is really healthy for your immune system, and it's healthy for your brain cognition. So as we're getting older, including sources of omega-3 fatty acids is especially helpful for our cognition. Good morning, Fern. Thanks for joining. So omega-3 fatty acids, good for our immune system, good for our cognition, and we get it when we eat fatty fish. When we eat seeds, like flax seeds and chia seeds, we are getting the precursor to omega-3 fatty acids. So it turns into omega-3s in our body. So that is one of the great benefits of eating seeds, especially flax seeds, and chia seeds has it as well. Another benefit of eating seeds is they balance our hormones. So if you're actually younger, there's a condition called PCOS. You may or may not have heard of it, but basically it's a condition that younger girls often get in their 20s and 30s when their hormones are a little bit imbalanced, and they may have irregular menstrual cycles and insulin resistance, which is something I could talk about another time. But actually, and sometimes women who just lose their period altogether for whatever reason it is that their hormones are a little bit imbalanced. And if you begin to include on a very daily basis, so very regular basis, flax seeds, chia seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds also, they can actually help you balance your hormones and regain a more regular menstrual cycle. So that's another less known benefit of eating seeds. So there's lots of great benefits from this. Oh, and then finally that it really helps your digestion. So if you're having trouble with either constipation or diarrhea or any just not having regular bowel movements, then flax seeds and all these kinds of seeds will really help with your digestion and help the gut microbiome, which is so important to our health. So I hope that gives you some good justification for this week's challenge and why to begin to experiment with these ingredients. This recipe that I'm going to be showing you today is so simple and so delicious. It could easily replace one of your breakfasts, a few of your breakfasts, even sometimes if you are having a little bit of dessert after dinner. It tastes like pudding, and you can change around the flavors so that it's chocolatey or fruity or kind of whatever you want it to be. And it's so easy and healthy. That's the most important thing. So what I already have here is a half a cup of chia seeds. I'm just gonna put that in the little glass container that I have, and I did want to mention that I use these glass containers as a way to start to reduce my use of plastic. It's great to reduce plastic as much as possible, not only because it is healthy for the environment, but it is very healthy for us as humans. We absorb plastic, unfortunately, into our blood and our system and our cells, and they actually, the name that we call it is endocrine disruptors, which means our endocrine system is the system that we use for our hormones. That's the hormone system. And when we absorb too much plastic or too much chemicals from cleaning supplies or cosmetics, too many chemicals and toxins, when we absorb too much of that, then they disrupt our endocrine system, so that could be a reason why our hormones are imbalanced. So if you are experiencing, hormone imbalance, which would be signs of your menstrual cycle being off, maybe reduced libido, there's, lots of mood irregularities. These could all be signs of a hormone imbalance, and this could be from using too many plastics or cosmetics or cleaning supplies and all these things that are more toxic to our bodies. So little by little, I know it's very overwhelming because we have these toxins in our environment are, just ubiquitous. They are all over, everywhere. Almost impossible. Actually, I do believe it is impossible to completely avoid the exposure to these kinds of chemicals. But little by little, every little step that you can take will help. So if switching over to glass containers versus plastic containers is just one step that you take, that's worth it. If you want recommendations on where to get better, safer cleaning supplies and cosmetics and all of these things, please let me know. I can absolutely guide you in the right direction. One really great website to check out is ewg.org. I think it is something like environmental, I don't remember what the W and the G stand for, something group, environmental something group, but ewg.org, and that will give you lots of good guidance on how to, build a little bit of a more safer home with fewer toxins. But anyway, that was kind of an aside. So here in my glass container, I have a half a cup of chia seeds, and I'm going to use 2 cups. So it's a half a cup to 2 cups is the ratio. And if you want to multiply that, you absolutely can and make more or less, however you please. To 2 cups of nut milk. I'm glad I brought out my 2 containers, and I'm going to talk about this nut milk that I use. The brand is Elmhurst, and they sell it right at Publix, and they are my favorite brand for nut milks because when you look at their ingredient label, the only 2 ingredients in this container is water and walnuts. You can get almond milk, you can get cashew milk. They even have creamers for coffee. I don't believe they sell the creamers at Publix, but you can find the creamers at a website called thrivemarket.com. And let me know if that's something you're interested. More information about it, I could definitely send it to you. But that's why I love this brand, because it follows that whole philosophy that I described to you last week about eating whole, unprocessed foods. And when you look at the ingredient label, if it only contains the food you intend to eat, then you know that that's whole, unprocessed. It doesn't contain any ingredients that your body will unfortunately not be able to digest. Good morning, Allison and Linda and Nancy. I see all of you. Thank you for coming. Okay, so I'm going to fill this up to my 2 cups. Mix that into my chia seeds. You can use whole or ground chia seeds for this. But what will happen is this has to be sitting in the refrigerator overnight. And the reason you can use whole chia seeds here is, I always say with seeds, it's always best if you can somehow, grind it, or at least if you're talking about like the bigger seeds like sunflower seeds, it's okay because you're going to chew them and they'll break up inside you. But for the smaller seeds, it is helpful to grind them because you want your body to absorb all the good nutrients in them. And if you don't grind them, they could kind of just go straight through you and you won't get the benefit of all those nutrients. So, but if you're leaving this recipe, which is, by the way, the name of this recipe is chia seed pudding. I never even told you that part. So chia seed pudding, when you leave it overnight in the refrigerator, the whole seeds will have this chance to sort of blossom. And that's what makes the end recipe so pudding and so the consistency so thick. And then those ingredients will be available to your body. So you can use whole seeds here. But in general, when I'm using chia seeds or flax seeds, I do grind them so that those ingredients are bioavailable. So these are my chia seeds. I keep them in the freezer as whole organic seeds, and then I grind them in this small little coffee grinder. It's so easy to purchase something like this. It stays right out on your counter. It doesn't take up much room at all. Not only do you get to then grind your flax seeds in small amounts and keep them in a glass container in the refrigerator, but then you can open up the opportunity of using whole coffee beans for your coffee and grind your coffee beans in here as well. It's so easy to use, and I do recommend doing that. So I did take out my whole organic flax seeds just to show you this. But again, I grind them in that small little coffee grinder, and I keep them in a glass container in smaller batches in the refrigerator so that the flax seeds don't get oxidized in the air and you don't lose the benefit of those precursors for omega-3 fatty acid that I mentioned before. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this back in my freezer so that stays nice and fresh. I also wanted to mention so many ways that you can use flax seeds. One is something you may never have heard of before, but if you either cannot tolerate eggs or if you are a vegan and you're not eating eggs, flax seeds can substitute for an egg in recipes like muffins or pancakes, things like that. You mix together 1 tablespoon of the flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of warm water, and you sort of like just mix it up, and that is an amazing thickener. Like I said, it can substitute for eggs in recipes like pancakes, muffins, cakes, things like that. It can also be used as a thickener for soups and sauces and hummus. You can stick flax seeds into, it can act as a breadcrumbs on your like grilled chicken or something like that. It's almost like you're, having breaded chicken pieces. Also, you could use it, where else? There's so many. Oh, I even use it in like burgers and things like that. So it adds almost like a nutty flavor to certain foods. But there's lots of different options. You could sprinkle it on your oatmeal in the morning, add it to your smoothies. Lots of different ways of using flax seeds and chia seeds as well. So look those ideas up, or let me know if you want some more of those ideas and I can give you those kinds of recipes. But as we move through this week, the challenge being that I want you to include seeds in your diet. That's why I'm trying to give you these different ideas so that maybe one of them will work well for you. But I actually feel that seeds should be something you eat on a daily basis. So every single day. So be creative with it. Okay, so now I have my 2 cups of nut milk with my 1/2 cup chia seeds. Let me get a tablespoon. So I just want to mix this up together. And now is the fun part. Oh, you see, it's already sort of like thickening. I guess I usually mix it right away. I don't usually talk so much, so I never realized that would happen. But yes, it like sort of like blooms in the milk, and it really thickens, and it's so delicious. So now is the fun part because I get to add all the flavors that I like. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I am going to leave out the cinnamon because my husband doesn't like cinnamon, but I would normally add some cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Cinnamon is actually especially healthy for you. It lowers blood pressure. It regulates blood sugar. What else is it for? It is definitely an antioxidant. So cinnamon is another ingredient that I try to add throughout my day all the time. It's very healthy for you. I also have some maple syrup here, so I'm going to add a tablespoon of maple syrup to sweeten it up a little bit. And I know I've mentioned this to you guys before, but my favorite sweeteners to use instead of sugar are honey, maple syrup, molasses, dates or date syrup, and also stevia extract. So those are all really great options. They are natural, whole, unprocessed ingredients, and they will not trigger an insulin response the way sugar does. So especially healthy for you. So here is my cacao powder. So you guys may know how obsessed I am with the flavor of chocolate. I'm going to add a whole tablespoon of cacao powder. And finally, I have lots of berries here. So you could add the berries straight to the recipe, or you can add the berries to the top of your recipe when it's all finished. But this is just gonna stay in the refrigerator overnight, 7 hours or something like that. And then it is going to be this delicious pudding that you can absolutely eat after dinner as your dessert or for breakfast or even lunch. And it's packed with this great nutrition from your seeds and your nut milk and your fruits and your even the maple syrup, and if you add some cinnamon, all of these ingredients are especially healthy for you. You could see how easy that was for me to put together, and what a great way to replace some of the more high sugar snacks or desserts that you're eating. So I hope I gave you lots of good ideas today on ways to use your different seeds. I did want to talk to you about this one topic that I was asked during the week, and I thought it was a really good question, and that was how to deal with cravings. I think there are people who, you're going through this amazing process and you're really making all these great changes, and you're cutting back on your sugar intake and your snacks and all this, and you're hoping at some point that you're not going to crave certain foods and that feeling will go away. And what I wanted to tell you, number one, let's look into the thought process of what is actually causing those cravings to begin with. So we have cravings for all different reasons. We have them, number one, for a physical reason. If we have removed a macronutrient from our diet, let's say you go on a ketogenic diet and you remove all the carbohydrates, then from a very physical standpoint, your body is sort of going through this time period that it really does miss the carbohydrate, because the carbohydrate is what your body uses for fuel. So your body is definitely missing a food that would physically help you have more energy. So that you could be having a craving from a physical standpoint because your body needs something. So if you are, restricting your diet so much in one area or another, then your body is absolutely going to give you this sign that you're craving something. And you might not know what it is because your body can't tell you. But if you're really missing a certain nutrient, I talked about this last week, you could be nutrient deficient if you are always eating, the same foods all the time. There could be a nutrient that your body is missing and you don't know what it is, but your body's always thinking and wanting something that you're not getting. So that it could absolutely be a very physical reason that you're having cravings. Number two, another reason that you could be having cravings is for more psychological issues, like let's say emotional eating. A lot of people will eat for comfort. There are certain foods that help your body create serotonin and dopamine and that more happy feeling. So there's absolutely times that you'll be craving foods because of that emotional reason. What are you missing? So either way, whether it's a physical thing or an emotional thing, then there is something your body is missing. So what I would say to you is think about in that moment, why am I craving this food? Am I actually really hungry? Does my body really need a certain food that maybe it's been missing for a long time? Or am I craving this because it's going to satisfy an emotional emptiness? Is it, is this going to make me happy? Is it going to give me comfort? Is it going to, it just make impact a certain emotion that you are seeking? And when you can decipher the root cause of that craving, that's when you can figure out what to do about it. Physical, yeah, your body probably needs something. And so think about what it is. What have you been eliminating from your diet that your body needs from a health standpoint? It will not be craving sugar from a health standpoint. If you're craving all sweet all the time, think about, what is that sweet food doing for you? Is it filling a void, some emotional, aspect of your life that seems a little bit on like you're missing something? And if that's the reason, then that is what has to be addressed, the emotional, and that's hard. That is really hard, but food is not going to make it better. There's food will only probably make it worse, because you'll feel guilty when you're done, and that whatever your body was missing will still be missing. So that's my advice when it comes to craving is before you grab and be impulsive about the food you just want to eat, think about, well, why am I feeling this? And see if you can't fill the void in a most healthy way. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that answers your questions if you are having those challenges. And I'm happy to talk to you more about it or work with you in any way to help you along in the process. So the challenge for this week is to include seeds in your diet. So whether it is flax seeds, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, be creative. I gave you lots of good ideas on how you can use flax seeds. I also gave you lots of reasons why all those seeds are so healthy for you. I prepared this amazing dish, our dessert, breakfast, whatever you want to use it for. Chia seed pudding that is chocolatey and fruity and delicious and healthy. And so I hope that was helpful. I hope you continue to stick with this. We're getting towards the end. So if you've already established some or hopefully all of the habits that I have recommended to you, then you are really headed in the right direction. I think you're probably already feeling the benefit of it. You're feeling better, and hopefully that you have some really good optimism about your health in the future. So keep it up. Let me know how it's going for you guys, and I will see you next week. Have a good Sunday, everybody. Bye-bye.